Welcome to 4H-4U, a podcast from the Hoosier Ag Today presents your Purdue Extension Podcast Network, brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau, a unified voice for agriculture.
At Indiana Farm Bureau, we serve tree farmers, goat farmers, and in fact, all farmers. With over 250,000 members, Indiana Farm Bureau represents a broad range of farmers and puts power in your collective voice. You also get advice from our subject matter experts, more affordable health plan options, and support for youth programs statewide. So whether you grow soybeans or strawberries, membership means you'll be heard. Become a member today at infb.org.
Today, we're highlighting the experiences of Indiana youth who recently traveled to our nation's capital for the National 4-H Conference, one of the premier leadership events in the 4-H program. The conference brings together young leaders from across the country to discuss important issues, develop leadership skills, and work alongside federal agencies to create recommendations that can make a difference in communities nationwide. So we're very excited to hear firsthand from an Indiana attendee and a chaperone about what they learned, the connections they made, and how the experience will impact their future involvement in Indiana 4-H. Let's welcome our guest today, Extension Educator Dylan Harmon and 4-H National Conference attendee Farah Coen. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me today.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes, you're most welcome. Very excited to hear about your experiences. So tell us a little bit about yourself. We'll start with Dylan and your involvement in 4-H.
Yeah, my name's Dylan. I'm the 4-H educator in Benton County. I've been in this role for about 10 months now.
And Farah?
My name is Farah Coen. I'm from Shelby County. This is my 10th year in 4-H, so that's pretty neat. I'm involved in quite a few projects. I've gone on 2 national trips. I'm in Junior Leaders Legacy Group, and I am my club president.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, again, thank you for joining me, both of you today. For those who may not be familiar, what is National 4-H Conference? Tell us a little bit about it, where it was at, how you came to go this year, all the fun stuff. We want to hear it all. Dylan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so the national conference is in Washington, D.C. It is all the states and territories come together to do these different presentations, and Farah can talk a little bit more about those. So she was a big part of those. So I was a chaperone for this conference, and I became a chaperone because Megan Skiba reached out to me to go. So yeah.
And we just had a conversation with Megan during our last podcast. So, okay, what about you, Farah? Tell us all the fun details. Go.
Well, it's a great opportunity to meet people from all around the country and just help connect our different lifestyles to create change. And so you are assigned a roundtable based on your interests. And so I was assigned Cultivating Rural America, which I was very fortunate to get because that's something I'm super passionate about. So it worked out really well. But you get a prompt from the federal agency that you are presenting to, and you, along with about 15 other delegates from around the country, get to come up with an answer and a presentation for that federal agency. So yeah.
So you were a delegate from Indiana.
Yes, I was.
How many delegates were there from Indiana?
We had 3.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that was, have you been before? Is this your first conference?
This is my second, actually, which I've heard doesn't really happen that often, but I was fortunate enough to be chosen twice. So I'm going to apply to be a college facilitator, hopefully, and hopefully that's where I'll be next year. So yeah.
So for those that don't know, this is a chosen status or a position that you actually apply for and are chosen for. Tell us about that process.
It is I think it's about 3 pages long of an application, and you have to write an essay about creating change. And I wrote my essay about mental health awareness and how I'm going to implement creating change within my own county, and how I use the 4-H's to create that change. So yeah. And you have to send in your resume. You have to answer some questions about your 4-H journey and what makes you deserving of going.
Dylan, are you aware of how many applicants per year on average apply for this position?
It changes every year. The number has, I feel like, has been getting smaller and smaller every year. So there's always room for applications.
Is this your first conference?
Yes.
Tell me about your experience, what you thought of it.
It was really cool. I didn't know what to expect going into it. So I just knew I was going to this conference and I was chaperoning some delegates. But I was really blown away when I got there. I didn't realize that you're in the hotel most of the time and the delegates are creating their presentations. And so it was really impressive for these 4-H members across the country to be coming together, sharing all of their ideas, and putting together these 45-minute presentations. And then when they went to go and present these to the organizations, it really blew me away of their professionalism and just the amount of confidence that they had to get up there and do the presentations.
Surely it wasn't all work and no play. I mean, certainly
Yeah.
you got to do something fun or visit some monument or, do a tour or whatever the case may be. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we got to go on a couple of different tours to the different memorials and we got to see some different museums. So it was really cool. We had almost one full day to go around Washington, D.C. and see the different sites. So
You tell me about it, Farah.
It was a lot of work. Obviously, we spent 3 days just doing work for an hour and a half, and then you get a 30-minute break, and you did that basically all day. But it made it really easy whenever you're around people who are so passionate about these things, and you just get to do what you love and really push for that change. That's what we are really called to do. But the day that we got to walk around DC was definitely fun, and it's just great seeing all the history, and it's a lot more than just a project to do in DC.
And that's not your first time to DC, huh?
Mm-mm, it's not.
What is your favorite thing to see or witness there?
Mm, I really enjoy the museums. I love history, so it's really fun to look around, and especially when you're with people who have been quite a few times and they get to educate you on things that you're like, huh, I never would have realized that. It's just, I don't know, the rich history and seeing people from everywhere is probably my favorite part about it.
Farah, you've already talked about the items of discussion that you had a part in, had a hand in. What were some of the bigger topics or issues that were discussed at this year's conference?
Well, besides my roundtable, there was one that was pretty interesting, and it was needed for something that's really prevalent today, and it was about AI and how we can really use that with our younger generations. And there were also quite a few roundtables about education, which I really appreciated since it's easier to hear about education from young people who are in those systems right now.
Dylan, were there any projects or workshops that maybe impacted you or that you were surprised by or that you thought were interesting?
I was surprised by all of it. So the whole time that I was there as a chaperone, we were in the back and just got to observe the delegates doing all of the things. And I was surprised by all of it. There was not a moment that I was bored or anything because it was just very surprising and really cool to be able to see all the delegates doing all the things.
Farah, as a two-timer, 2 times you've been. This fantastic. Congratulations. That's cool.
Thank you.
But what is it like working with 4-H members from across the country? I mean, you get to meet people from everywhere.
Yeah, I do. I'm very fortunate in my opportunities that I've been given. It's very inspiring. That's the word that I would use the most for this. Is just this whole experience is extremely inspiring, and it really makes you want to go out and do things on your own and not have to just rely on other people to be there for you. But also, like, you are pushed to be a leader of your own, and you get to see different leadership styles from different 4-Hers. And let me tell you, the best kids are 4-Hers. We know what's going on. It's just great to meet new people and see how innovative other people can be. So
Dylan, as a chaperone, it probably had to make you burst a little bit with pride seeing all these 3 kids that were under your care, interact with people from all over the country.
Yeah, it really did. Because that first day when we were getting on the plane, we hadn't met each other at all, really. There may have been a couple of us that knew each other, but other than that, we had no idea who each other were. So going from that and then to the very end of seeing them grow just in a matter of less than a week was really, really cool.
Farah, did you have an opportunity to interact with like federal agencies or policymakers? And if you did, what was that experience like?
Yes, so I got to speak to the USDA, and that was amazing. Like hands down, one of the best experiences of my life. And the leaders in those positions, when you think about leaders in positions like that, it kind of makes you nervous because you're like, wow, they've worked hard to get there. I gotta be perfect, but they're just people, and that's what they kept reminding us. And it's just amazing because, like I said, it's so inspiring. And there were specifically for me there was one woman who was talking about like girl power, and that's something that's really big for me. And she was just telling all of us that like you can achieve your dreams, and these agencies really do, they're working for us. Like we are here in the United States to work with each other, and it's not just a one-way relationship.
Dylan, seeing these three students interact with, you know, lawmakers, big deals, big wigs. What was that like for you?
It was amazing. And I had the pleasure of being in the room when Farah and her group was doing their presentation. And it was just, I was blown away the entire time. There was a smile on my face the whole time because they did such a great job. And I couldn't even imagine getting up there myself and doing what they did. So just watching them, I was so impressed the entire time. The entire 45 minutes. I could not imagine doing that for 45 minutes.
That is very impressive. All of this is so impressive, and I'm so excited to talk with you about it. We're going to talk a little bit more. We got to take a short break, but when we come back with 4H-4U, I want to talk about your favorite part of the conference. So stay tuned.
Farming isn't just a job, it's the foundation of life. Farmers feed us, fuel our future, and pass down traditions built on hope and hard work. At Farm Credit Mid-America, we know farming is more than a profession. It's a legacy. That's why we stand shoulder to shoulder with farmers, offering agricultural loans, insurance, and education. Because we're not just here for farmers, we're owned by them. Farming matters, and we're proud to honor it every day.
And we're back with 4H-4U, talking about the recent National 4-H Conference with Dylan and Farah. Girls, again, thanks for joining me. Okay, so tell me, what leadership skills did you develop during this conference? Anything new that you learned or that took away from? Farah, we'll start with you.
All right. The thing that I learned most was that people have different ways of leading. And it's really hard to understand that, like, oh, maybe this person doesn't understand what I'm trying to say because they come from a different background. But that's what makes us so unique and with one another and creates some like an amazing community is that with your different leadership styles, then you can help develop into a more well-rounded leader so that it enables you to include everyone. And that's just something that I think is really important going into a world of such diverse people and going into different businesses and whatnot.
Dylan, what about you?
Well, this was my first time chaperoning a trip for 4-H, so it was definitely, I learned a lot on this trip on how to manage times as well, of making sure we're on the bus at the right time and the plane at the right time and all the things. So it wasn't just them that were learning some leadership skills. The adults definitely learned leadership skills as well.
For sure, you would have to.
Mm-hmm.
That is excellent. Okay, we've touched upon this a little bit, but I want to get more into the weeds on this, more specifics. What was your favorite part of this trip, in particular, to Washington, D.C., Farah?
This is difficult Last time I went to Washington, D.C. for national conference, I talked to the Institute of Museum and Library Services. And this time, talking to the USDA was completely different because it's just a whole different level. They're a much bigger federal agency, so it's a little bit more intimidating going in there and knowing that you are talking to the high ups. Like they're putting in the work. But what made this one really special was just how welcoming they were and how much they wanted to make us part of their plan and more educated into the world that we're going in because we are young and we're still learning and growing into the people that we will become. And it's just it's so nice to see that these people really want to see you go out and do good for the world. And the I don't know, the USDA leaders are just incredible.
Cool. I'm glad you got to experience that because that's probably not everybody's take or experience. So I'm glad you got a good positive experience from that. Dylan, what about you? Your favorite part of your trip to DC?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned this earlier, but my favorite part was seeing the interaction between the USDA leaders and the kids. It was really amazing. They had such a great reaction, I feel like, and they wanted to use a part of their initiative in the future too, which was really cool. So seeing that interaction and seeing the delegates' confidence when they were talking to them, it was my absolute favorite part.
So playing off that, Dylan, how do you plan to bring what you learned back to your local 4-H program and your community?
That was a great question. I didn't really know much about the trips prior to, so, and knowing that the numbers have gotten a little lower for people applying for these trips, I am definitely going to push for a lot of the 4-Hers in my county to look into it and apply to go because I think it's really important and it's a great opportunity for them.
Farah, what about you? What do you plan to bring back what you learned?
Well, I will definitely empower my other 4-H members to just really go after the things that they want to see in the community and that they can do it. And us as 4-Hers can come together and create such a big impact. And for beyond even my county and whatnot, our group for our roundtable is actually still working with the USDA right now on a certain project that I don't think we're like supposed to talk about yet because it's not
Ooh.
everything's finalized, not everything's been presented, but we are working with them on a few different things that hopefully will be coming out in the future. So that's really exciting to see our work really coming to life and hopefully developing over time.
That is impressive. I mean, what other students your age can say that? Yeah, we're helping out the USDA with some problems they're having. It's no big deal. So, Farah, what would you say to other Indiana 4-H members who might be thinking about this or interested in attending in the future, being a delegate in the future?
Be inspired. Go after what you want. It Nothing is unattainable when you have a dream and you know what you want to do. Your passion will pull you through. Just go for what you want. Reach out. Connection is really important. Reach out to the people you know. There's so many people who want to help you and you just may not realize it. So be brave.
And Dylan, what about you?
I would say just chaperone. Just do it. If you if you've thought about being a chaperone, do it because it's a great opportunity. And if you have thought about being a delegate, just go ahead and do it because you never know unless you try.
Let's speak in generalities for our last question here. This doesn't even really, I mean, it does concern the conference for sure, but across the board, when it comes to 4-H leadership opportunities, why should families be encouraged and why should they encourage their young folks, their young people to stay involved and to get involved into 4-H leadership opportunities? Dylan,
I
Oh, sorry.
oh
that's okay.
sorry.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Um, I would say a lot of the opportunities that we have in 4-H for leadership opportunities are things that you wouldn't normally get to do if you were outside of 4-H. And a lot of it is at a lower cost than it would be if you were outside of 4-H. So those are just good things that are good opportunities to be able to do.
And Farah, take us home. How would you encourage families to get their young people involved?
Well, leadership in 4-H isn't just about being a kid in agriculture or a kid who lives on a farm. It's just a kid who wants to grow into a better person and a better character, connect with others. So take those chances in those leadership roles. You'll really surprise yourself, and you'll really see how encouraging those around you are. Also, you never know where it can lead you. Like, I went to DC. That's crazy. And it's just because I took a chance on it and decided maybe I do want to really put myself out there, see what I can do, test my limits. And so yeah, just don't be afraid to go into those leadership roles. Like, everyone has a little bit of leadership in them. You just got to pull it out, and you need the right motivation to really show your true colors and be the person that you're meant to be. Find your purpose, find your passions.
I couldn't have said that any better myself. And what a way to wrap up this interview here, this podcast, this 4H-4U. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me today.
Thank you.
Of course, pleasure.
Special thanks to our guests today for sharing their experiences from the National 4-H Conference. Programs like Indiana 4-H continue to provide young people with opportunities to build leadership skills, explore career pathways, and make meaningful contributions to their communities. To learn more about Indiana 4-H and future leadership opportunities, contact your local extension office. And thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and share this out. 4H-4U is a podcast from the Hoosier Ag Today Presents Your Purdue Extension Podcast Network, brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau, a unified voice for agriculture. Join us next time as we continue highlighting the people and the programs shaping the future of Indiana agriculture and youth development through 4-H. I'm Greg Allen.